You know, some partnerships are just legendary. They're forged in the most insane circumstances. And today, we're jumping right into Chapter 5 of One Piece to break down that exact moment. The moment a future pirate king and the world's greatest swordsman decided to team up. Let's do this.
So, we start right here. This is Roronoa's Zoro. Starved, beaten, tied to a post, and literally moments from being executed. To everyone else, he's a demon, right? A fearsome pirate hunter. But here, he's just a guy facing a firing squad. So the real question is, how in the world does he get out of this? And why would he join the pirate who saves him?
All right, the scene is set at a super corrupt marine base, and the clock is ticking down. This isn't just about being a prisoner, it's a countdown to a public execution.
And this contrast just cranks up the tension. On one side, you've got Monkey D. Luffy, our hero, just tearing the base apart trying to find Zoro's 3 swords. At the exact same time, on the other side, the firing squad is already lined up, ready to go. It's a classic, nail-biting race against time.
Luffy's methods, well, they're not exactly by the book. To get through the guards, he literally grabs the captain's whiny son, Helmeppo, and uses him as a human shield. It's pure chaos, totally reckless, but man, does it show you just how determined Luffy is. He will not be stopped.
And here he is, the man in charge of this whole mess, Captain Axehand Morgan. This guy is a total tyrant, ruling the base with an with an axe hand. He's the one who told Zoro, hey, survive a month tied up and I'll let you go free. Yeah, about that. That was a promise he had zero intention of ever keeping.
I mean, listen to this guy. His arrogance is off the charts. He calls Zoro a peasant and himself the Great One. This isn't just confidence, you know. It's a massive, fatal underestimation. He doesn't see one of the most dangerous swordsmen alive. He just sees some trash he needs to take out.
So the rifles go up, the soldiers take aim, and right in this moment, with death staring him right in the face, you see Zoro's expression change. He remembers something. He realizes, wait, I can't die yet. There's something I still have to do.
And that's the key, isn't it? He's not just fighting to stay alive, he's fighting to keep a promise. So you have to ask, what kind of promise is so powerful that it gives you strength when you're literally at the barrel of a gun?
To figure that out, we have to rewind. We've got to go back in time and talk about the rivalry that basically defined Zoro's entire life. 2001. Just let that number sink in. That's how many times young Roronoa Zoro fought his childhood rival, Kuna, and lost. Not once, not 100 times, over 2,000 times.
Here we see their very last duel. It's under the moonlight with real swords this time. And she wins again. For Zoro, Kuina was more than just a rival. She was this insurmountable wall, the one person he was absolutely desperate to beat, but just never ever could. But then, right after the duel, his invincible rival just breaks down. Kuina tells Zoro that even though she's better than him, she feels like her dream is already over. Why? Because her own father told her that a girl could never truly be the world's greatest swordsman. Think about that. The strongest person Zoro knows feels completely hopeless.
Zoro is just furious, not at her, but at what she's saying. He screams at her that if he ever beats her, it'll be because of his skill, not because of something as dumb as her being a girl. And right there, everything changes. Their rivalry becomes a shared dream. They make a pact. One of them, no matter what, has to get to the top.
And then, tragedy. Just like that. The very next day, Kuna is dead. A freak accident. She fell down some stairs. Their promise, their future, it's all just gone.
A heartbroken Zoro begs her father for her sword, the Wado Ichimonji, and he makes a new vow. This time, it's for her. He's going to carry the dream for both of them. He will become so strong, so famous, that his name will reach all the way up to heaven for her to hear. This is the core of who he is. He's carrying her will forward.
So, that brings us right back to the present. And now, knowing all of that, the sight of that firing squad suddenly feels a whole lot heavier, doesn't it?
And this is where it all connects. Zoro isn't just fighting for himself anymore. He's fighting for Kuna, for their promise. To die here would be to fail her, to let their dream die with him. That's why he absolutely refuses to die.
Right as Morgan screams fire, Luffy just explodes onto the scene. He launches himself off a rooftop, Zoro's 3 swords in hand, stretching his arms out to grab 2 poles and slingshotting his body across the courtyard. It's his signature move, the Gum Gum Rocket.
He lands right in front of Zoro, arms spread wide, literally becoming a human shield. The entire firing squad unloads on him at point-blank range. And for a second, it looks like he just committed suicide to save a guy he barely knows.
But then, the bullets just bounce off his chest like they're nothing. Luffy cracks this huge grin and announces to everyone that, yeah, he's a rubber man. Bullets don't work on him. In one single move, he not only saves Zoro, but he reveals the incredible secret of his power to the world.
What an incredible climax to the fight. Okay, so now that the action's over, we've actually got a little bonus insight for you. The series creator, Ichiro Oda, shared some early notes on how this arc's villain was actually designed.
So, if you look at Oda's early sketches, Captain Morgan looked totally different. His original name was Naval Captain Chop, and he had this kind of goofy, almost funny-looking design. It's a world away from the giant, intimidating guy we actually got.
So why the big change? It's actually pretty simple. According to Oda himself, his editor took one look at the first design and just said, yeah, that looks lame. Oda couldn't really argue with that, so he went back to the drawing board and gave us the axe-hand Morgan we all know today.
So this single chapter forges an absolutely unbelievable alliance. You've got a guy who promised he'd become king of the pirates, joining forces with a guy who promised his childhood friend he'd become the world's greatest swordsman. It really just leaves you with one question, right? What happens when two promises that powerful collide and decide to take on the world together?